Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, Rich Stowell publishes Flight Training Thesis. United Airlines grants 5% pay raise to pilots. Flight Schedule Pro integrates LogTen tracking. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Rich Stowell publishes Flight Training Thesis. A new way of looking at the basics of flight has been published by one long-established flight instructor, offering teachers a fresh approach to light aircraft. Master Flight Instructor Rich Stowell has put a cap on his research regarding the fundamental principles of flight instruction, publishing the 9 Principles of Light Airplane Flying. While currently the theory exists as a self-contained paper, Stowell plans to integrate the principles into educational curricula and online teaching programs. The 35-year instructing veteran used his experiences in teaching spins, emergencies, maneuvers, and aerobatics to come up with a categorization to convey the fundamentals to a student from zero. Whatever the aspect, it can be neatly placed in one of 3 categories: mindset, motion, or mechanics, allowing students a neater way of conceptualizing tasks. Quote, "Because they are unchanging, first principles give us a solid foundation to build on," end quote, he said upon publication. Stowell hopes that the paper can help, quote, "to start a dialogue about first principles thinking and its role in improvement flight training content and methods, as well as, quote, to provide a clearer path to the correlation level of learning," end quote. And after the break, NGPA announces 2022 scholarships.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some other interesting stories. NGPA announces 2022 scholarships. The National Gay Pilots Association received the greatest number of scholarship applications this year, sifting through 376 essays for financial support. While that number may seem somewhat small to those accustomed to scholarship programs sorting through thousands of applicants, the relatively youthful NGPA says it represents a 70% increase over the level of interest shown in 2021. The organization's star is on the rise thanks to a healthy crop of commercial supporters and companies offering a slate of scholarships that are hard to compete with. CAE expands Toronto facility with Boeing 777 Sim. CAE has expanded its training capacity for Canadian Airlines with the addition of a brand new B777 full flight simulator at its Toronto training facility. The new equipment follows the recent installation and opening of the company's B737 MAX and B787 simulators in the freshly expanded training premises. Coinciding with the new simulators is a widening of the school's pipeline for future pilots alongside Jazz Aviation's Jazz Approach program. The pipeline allows ab initio students to work their way up to a first officer position at Jazz Aviation. 22nd ARW completes single pilot KC-46 sortie. The 22nd Air Refueling Wing completed a single pilot KC-46A Pegasus flight to validate procedures for limited aircrew. The October 25th mission allowed the wing to assess the changes and effects of a tanker flight without a co-pilot, whether taking place due to wartime exigencies or long-range operations with offset aircrews. The reduced crew complement flight was completed within military test airspace, followed up by a full sortie with a full mission profile. Elite and ProSim agree to partnership in A320 Sim. Elite Simulation Solutions and ProSim Training Solutions have agreed on a new A320 type representative FNTP2 MCC partnership. The pair makes for a collaboration between some of the larger world players in simulator manufacture and technology, joining hands to meld their strengths into a world-class A320 sim. The companies have already sold their first 2 of the devices to customers in Germany and Greece, currently in the process of installation. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. United Airlines grants 5% pay raise to pilots. United Airlines is giving pilots a 5% pay bump a few months earlier than anticipated. As stipulated in the Pandemic Recovery Agreement, the raise was set to go into effect for the May 2023 bid period. Unexpectedly, United, possibly spurred on by a quick return to profitability or tiresome contract negotiations, decided to let it happen earlier than planned. In a message to United pilots, Senior Vice President of Flight Operations Brian Quigley said the pay boost would go into effect in December 2022. Quote, "This is a show of good faith and a down payment," end quote, added Quigley, calling the raise an advance of sorts on a, quote, "market-based, industry-leading labor agreement," end quote. That statement rankled some United pilots whose union recently voted to reject a tentative deal that would have included 14.5% of raises over 18 months. They said the offer did not reflect previous agreement from the airline to improve several of its work rule provisions. The union has been unimpressed with what they called a wait-and-see approach to negotiations after the vote. A series of informational picketing events became the next focus of the United Pilots' union, making some wonder whether or not that raise was aimed at defraying some of the negative PR of the upcoming action. And after these messages, Flight Schedule Pro integrates LogTen tracking.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Throughout the globe, Piper Aircraft has hand-selected the very best in company representation, service, and support. From first inquiry to acquisition to product support, Piper Aircraft ownership is seamless and worry-free. Piper Aircraft authorized dealers, factory trained, factory connected.
Aviation Safety Resources is disrupting the market for aircraft emergency parachute recovery systems. ASR systems are smaller, lighter weight, and offer longer repack cycles than similar products available in the current market. ASR has a recovery system available for every type of aircraft: sport, experimental, light sport, general aviation, urban air mobility, vertical takeoff and landing, electric propulsion, and unmanned aerial systems. Find the right product for your aircraft at aviationsafetyresources.com.
Welcome back. Flight Schedule Pro integrates LogTen tracking. Flight Schedule Pro has officially integrated its services with LogTen, enabling users of the system to seamlessly share flight data to their electronic logbook. The increasing popularity of the scheduling system with schools, clubs, and renters has led to a string of improvements to the service, this time cutting down on redundant record keeping and time wastage. For instructors, the ability to keep easy, automatic track of student currency and progress is an extra boon. Jason Barnes, Flight Schedule Pro CEO, said the change has been much desired from clientele. Quote, "One of the top requests from operators, students, and instructors alike has been the integration of a pilot logbook with Flight Schedule Pro. Now with the tap of a button, pilots can share their flight data with LogTen for quick, easy, accurate record keeping and flight data analysis," end quote. Quote, "This integration significantly reduces the time spent filling out records after a lesson," end quote, said Adam Walters, Blue Line Aviation Flight School president. Quote, "Being able to send flight information from Flight Schedule Pro into the students' LogTen logbooks at the push of a button reduces errors, eliminates redundant data entry, and ensures our students get a head start on other candidates in the workforce by having an accurate and detailed electronic logbook from the beginning," end quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.